yeah.
Hello, lovelies.
And welcome to our podcast. Me.
And mini me. I'm her mini me.
Cheers. And today we're going to be talking about an important topic, actually. It's about your diagnosis. So we're going to try and remember what you remember of it, what I remember of it, and how we felt about it. But what made me think about talking about it today is actually because we're in Great Ormond Street Hospital today, and you've been poorly for a few days. You've been sick for a few days.
Yeah.
I have to cut that off because I don't know how to edit it. I'm gonna start again. Okay?
Okay.
Please speak. I'm really good at DQ and hide. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Sorry.
So. Hello, lovelies. Welcome back to our podcast.
Yeah.
Me.
And mini me.
And in today's podcast, we're going to be talking about his diagnosis.
Yes.
It's a sensitive topic. It's a very important topic as well.
Yeah.
But I think it's brought memories, and there's a reason why it's kind of triggered, because we're at Great Ormond Street Hospital.
Yes.
And you know, people have like little things that they bring back certain memories and emotions. Mm-hmm. So I thought it'd be nice if we talked about it, because it's an important thing, right? And today is because you're not, you haven't been feeling too well, but you're better today. But that's why they've kept you. And we've gone out for a walk. They've told us you can go out for a walk, and we've got some drinks. Starbucks,
raspberry lemonade.
And I've got my oat shaken brown espresso. It's such a long name. But anyway, it's my favorite.
Oat shaken brown espresso.
Espresso. I actually want to try the olive oil one. I've got one with olive oil. It kind of feels weird, but like I want to taste it, but I don't want to pay for it. But I want to taste it. That makes sense. As you can see, we're both sick. Okay.
That probably sounded really loud.
Yeah, that's true. Sorry, guys, for sounding so awfully loud, but you know.
Put your volumes down.
Yeah. We'll try and give you a warning when we're coughing again. So talking about diagnosis. So
do you want to pass on?
You could. How about you say when were you diagnosed?
I'll say a few sentences, then you
tell everyone when were you diagnosed.
So I was diagnosed at the age of 4, and I was in school, and I just started to not feel 100%, and in general for a few weeks. For a few weeks I wasn't feeling 100%.
So you were diagnosed actually. Go back to the dates of your diagnosis. So you were diagnosed back in 2017. It was the 9th of June, 2017. Is your actual diagnosis. However, before you got diagnosed, we're swinging on the thing. So weird, but yeah. Before you got diagnosed, there was obviously signs before that, which is really important for other people, because they probably want to know, how did you find out and what happened. So it didn't just happen out of the blue, did it?
It didn't happen out of the blue. So
what do you remember? Like
I remember
you always used to be like this really active bunny. You always had beans. You always had energy. And then some little things started to change. Do you remember what it is?
I do.
But try not to remember what I keep telling you and telling everyone. This is genuinely your memory. What was your memory?
Remember saying that I had bone pain.
Yes.
Like here. I definitely remember that. I remember saying...
You didn't say it was here. Do you know where you used to say it was?
Like my back?
No, you used to say it was your neck.
Yeah, here.
Your neck, here.
Here. Okay. Well, that's what I meant. Somewhere here. I'm not going to exactly. It was a long time ago.
But I remember, because I'm the adult.
Remember. You're the adult. It wasn't that long ago for you, but it was very long ago for me.
That's true. Go on.
So I remember that. I remember saying I just don't feel well in general. Like, I don't want to go to school, don't want to go to nursery. I mean, like, not feeling hot, feeling sick, just not feeling well. You know when you're like, I just don't feel well.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to school. Don't want to go to nursery.
Yeah.
I just remember that in general. But pain-wise, it was really just the neck pain.
Yeah.
If I'm honest with you.
It was neck pain, and then it became a few weeks
Muscle
later.
pain.
It was your legs were hurting you, and I remember we used to have to hit you. We used to say, "Oh, Mum," when we not hit you,
Yeah.
in case people think we were hitting you. Like
Yeah.
you used to ask us to pat you,
Mm-hmm.
and when we were patting you,
Oh, I remember that now.
do you remember that?
Remember.
You used to say, "Oh, it feels really nice, Mummy. Thank you."
Mm.
But I'll tell you what I think. Your nursery teachers are the ones that started to see signs.
I was gonna say.
And that's really important because you're the eldest in the school. So what happened is that you'd already spent almost a year at school, and it was your second year at nursery, and your teachers already knew what you're like, and then suddenly they started to see that you were less like active and you didn't want to play so much. You weren't eating.
Not all of this. I don't remember.
Oh no, I
this.
remember they were telling me this, and then
So this is like story time for me. Every time my mum tells me this,
because you don't
the
recollect
stories,
this.
I'm like, really, that happened?
And I remember they would say you weren't eating as much, and you were kind of tired. You didn't really want to play with everyone, and they kept saying to me that you looked a bit pale. And the thing is, I didn't really see that you looked pale because you kind of have this like complexion. You're kind of olivey, like
I'm like,
you're not.
over the years, I've gone
You're
darker.
not white, and you're not dark.
Yeah.
You're kind of like Mediterranean. You know, like you've got a
Yeah.
color to you.
Yeah.
So I couldn't tell what pale looked
Because
like.
I've got bits from my mum and my dad. Like you're
Exactly.
more on the
I'm slightly
lighter
lighter,
side,
yeah.
and my dad's a bit darker.
Exactly.
Now I'm in the middle of my age, so I'm
Middle of your age?
no, not in the middle of my age. Like I'm older.
Okay.
I'm older than I was then.
Yeah.
So I'm saying my skin color is like changed a bit.
Oh, okay.
That's what I mean.
I was trying to get to okay.
No.
I lost you there. I was like,
No.
what? What are you talking about?
No.
All right, cool. And then they said that you look pale. So for me, I didn't think you look pale. About your eating, I didn't really see a massive change of appetite because you're always at school
and
you
they're
go to
always
after
with
school
me.
care. I didn't really see a massive difference. Like it's not like you stopped eating, but it's so subtle. I didn't even pick it up. And being a bit tired now, I do remember you once in Easter holiday. I remember it was April. You suddenly became really unwell, like you had a temperature and you were just not feeling great and you were run down, but there was nothing wrong with you. And I took you to the GP. They did some bloods, and apparently, coincidentally, they lost your blood results. So, and even your GP, oh, there was a bee. Okay.
See how calm I was and how scared she was.
Yeah, I just hope it doesn't come back again because I'm a scary cat. And I remember the GP said, "Oh, she looks pale," and I was like, "Really?" So that's like the second person that said she looks pale. And then I also remember you. I remember you sweating at night. I remember that. And I thought because it was Easter time, I thought it was getting hot in your room and you were just getting hot and sweaty. So all these are like coincidental things. These are symptoms, right? But because of the timing, I thought it's just a coincidence. I thought because it's Easter, a change of weather, people get a bit more snotty, a bit more sick. I thought you were coming down with something. That's why you had the temperature. And then I thought when you were sweating, I thought maybe the room was hot and that's why you were sweating. So those are the two things. And then I remember you saying that your neck was hurting you, and I kept taking you to the doctor and the hospital. Do you remember how many times we went? At least 7 times. I took you to the hospital 4 times and went to the GP.
In how long?
In about
how much period time?
About 6 weeks, month and a half. I took you about 7 times.
It's quite a lot.
I took you to the GP 3 times.
Well, I say that's quite a lot now because I go more now.
Of course.
But I mean, for a normal person, that's a lot.
Right. So
that's why I'm not surprised now. But
let's
imagine
for your average person.
For your average person, that's a lot.
So you went to the GP 3 times. One of them, they did your blood test. The second time, they lost half the blood test. They said, "Oh, she's low in she's anemic or whatever it is," but they didn't say. The one that would have told us that you've got something, they lost that blood test. And then I remember going to the hospital, and they scanned your neck several times. They did an ultrasound. They didn't find anything. They did an X-ray.
And then let's go to the part where I was at nursery and my teacher said something. Something happened, and then my teacher said something. Then you took me somewhere, and my
Yeah.
teacher said, "Don't do this."
Oh, no. So one of your teachers said to me, when I took you already several times to the hospital, and I told them about your neck, because you kept saying, my neck hurts me. And I kept taking you, and they were like, oh, there's nothing wrong with your neck. And they scanned it. They said, oh, there's nothing wrong with her neck. She's fine. Did she injure herself? I said, no. Your teacher said to me, one of your nursery teachers said, it doesn't matter what they say. You keep insisting there is something wrong with Tia. She keeps saying that her neck hurts her. Even if they're saying there's nothing wrong, I'm sure there's something, because your child wouldn't keep complaining about the same thing over and over again.
And if it's
And she said,
something,
don't feel shy.
because
Just go.
children usually tend to make up stuff because they're children.
Yeah,
I don't go to nursery, and they have their little moments.
yeah,
But if I was a smart toddler, I
yeah.
wouldn't be complaining about the same thing. I would change it up. I'd say one day it's my neck, next day it'd be my ankle.
Well, that's why it's different.
That's why it's different. This one you can tell it's actually real, because
They're
if it was
repeating the same
fake,
thing
they're
over and
repeating the
over
same
again.
thing over again.
And the other thing that made me realize there's something wrong. You know how kids like to copy the parents and stuff like that? If I had been always complaining about my neck all the time, then you would maybe have learnt it from me or picked it up from me. But no one, me or your dad, no one's ever used to say they've got neck pain. So that was another thing that made me realize actually maybe there's something wrong. And thanks to the nursery teacher um, advice, I went back and I insisted. But on that day, I remember I was taking you. One of the things I remember the doctor said to me, which was really upsetting, they said, oh, maybe Tia needs more emotional support. Maybe psychologically she's
Not getting enough
not
attention. You're
enough
giving my
attention
brother too much attention.
because she
And
has a special need
I
brother.
never felt that way. I used to love my brother. Don't get me wrong, I used to find my brother annoying, but I didn't used to
Get jealous. They
get
said to me that, oh,
jealous.
she's jealous because your other son is special need and he has all the attention from her. So maybe she's
I
just
used to
doing
find
that.
him very annoying. I used to find him
Well,
very annoying.
they used to think that you're trying to get my attention, and that's why you keep saying
What
this
happened?
stuff. Oh, I just lost my balance. And they were saying that's why you were trying to do this. It's a way of you trying to get attention. But now looking back at it, I think that was really annoying because
I don't know.
that's so wrong. Like they
The way I am
dismissed
with
like
my
all
brother
the
now
issues.
today is the opposite of jealous. I'm so like.
No, but the thing is, the hospitals, they
Just-
didn't even bother doing like some blood tests to find out what was
It's
going
like not
on with you.
related to hospital.
Like
Why would
1
you
minute,
bring up something so random?
and then they said one of the other things they said, oh, she has growing pain. Growing pain at 4 years old? Are you serious? What kind of growing pain
I
is
get
that?
growing pain at like this age, at 10.
Yeah, but
9.
not like at 4.
You get like
Anyway,
4.
so then they made me feel really bad because they thought I actually thought I was a bad mama, and I thought, oh my god, I'm giving all the attention to Ryan, and I'm not giving any attention to Tia, and that's why
And
she's
what made you
playing
think?
up.
And what made you realize? Actually, no, that's not the reason.
I'll tell you. On one of my last visits, the doctors, the hospital were getting a bit tired of me coming up every week complaining, bringing you to A&E and saying there's something wrong with her, and they say there's nothing wrong with her. And then the last doctor said on the one of my visits, they said, "Oh, I think because she has a special need brother, she's probably just playing up and she's just, whatever." That made me really upset. And on the following day, or a couple of days later, you woke up in the middle of the night and you joined my bed. You kept sleeping recently. Recently during that time before we found out what's wrong with you. You kept sleeping in our bed with me and your dad, and you kept wanting to sleep with us. And I was getting really like a bit frustrated because you kept waking up complaining, you've got pain, and you kept sleeping with us. And I was like, okay, I'm getting tired of this. And I would take you to hospital, and everyone says there's nothing wrong. So then I thought maybe the doctor's all right. Maybe she just wants my attention. So I got you up. It was about 5 in the morning. I said to you, get dressed here, put your uniform on. And I said to I said, look, I'm just going to take me and her just going to hang out, have breakfast together before she
You're gonna
starts
go
her
to
nursery.
Starbucks.
And before I go to work, I'm just going to be with her.
You said you're gonna take me Starbucks.
We'll have breakfast together. And we spend some me time, me and her, quality time, because I thought maybe that's what you need, because that's what they told me. And I remember driving with you, and then I was in the car, and it was like 5 a.m. or whatever. And then you fell asleep in the car. And I thought, oh, that's a bit strange. I was like, you usually hardly sleep. And I thought, that's a bit weird.
Like, I hate to sleep. Like, hate.
So then you woke up and then you looked at me and you went, Mummy, I'm really sorry, Mummy, but we're going to have to go to the hospital A&E because I really don't feel
I vaguely
well.
remember that.
He said to me, I don't feel well, Mummy. And I know you hate being there because we spend a long time, but I think they really need to see me, Mama. There's something wrong with me. And you said that, and my heart started to race, and I was panicking. And I remember doing a massive U-turn on the road. Luckily, the roads were empty, and I went
because it was early in the morning.
And I drove really quickly to A&E, and I picked you up, like lifted you, and I ran into A&E. Luckily, my luck, on the shift that day, the doctor that was there was an American doctor, and may God give this doctor the best life. And may
Doctor, if you're watching this,
I've forgotten her name. I remember going in to see her, and I
well,
loved her
if you
forever.
watch this and you recognize my mum or me, this is a podcast
Yeah, this is dedicated to you.
dedicated to
Bless your
you.
heart. Like, she's amazing. I remember she coming in, and I was like, Tia keeps complaining. Your colleagues have been telling me that they think it's psychological because she has a brother, blah blah blah. And then she was like,
Wait,
"That's
no, blah, 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 rewind. You, as you were driving, you called my you called my teacher.
Mm-mm.
You scared me.
Don't worry, no. That's not them. You're very still with that fly of yours, your wasp bee. No,
She said,
not then,
don't
not then.
search.
Wait, not yet.
Yeah.
You're skipping the story.
Sorry, I'm going behind and sorry.
No, so what happened? I said to her, "Oh, your doctor's. I've been to A&E before several times." And she's like, "How many times have you gone to take her?" And I said, "Oh, 7 times." And she said, "And how long? 6 weeks?" And she was looking at all your medical records. She's like, "We never had Tia before this, like the past 6 weeks. We never really have a history of her. She's never come." I said, "She's never been sick." I said, "She's not even had a cold before. She's not had a food before. There's nothing."
She only comes in because she's complaining.
I'm like, she's only recently started to complain, but she's been really fit and healthy. She's never like even had like an infection before. And she's like, I think there's something not right. And she said, it doesn't make sense to me. I think I need to do some bloods. And she goes, I'm really sorry that we've not done any bloods on her before. But the fact that your daughter said, and she's only 4 years old, she said that there's something wrong, that means there is something wrong. Just because we can't see it, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And she goes, I'm going to do the bloods and I'm going to send it to the labs. And she goes, and I've already spoken to a pediatrician, a doctor, and she said in the next few days, someone will see Tia. And she goes, there might be something wrong with her, maybe in the bones, like maybe some sort. I thought, oh, maybe she has like a bony infection or something. I don't know. She said, oh, in a few days we'll find out and we'll call you back. I said, okay. So I drove, took you after she did the bloods, and then I dropped you off to the nursery. And then apparently you fell asleep in the nursery after I dropped you off.
I never nap. I've never napped.
You don't believe it? You fell asleep and they gave you cornflakes, Cocoa Pops, I even remember.
I'm saying I've never napped in general in nursery.
You napped that day.
Like other children, they always like go to a nap corner, having a little nap.
You're anti-nap.
I'm anti-nap, anti-sleep. My eyes cannot close. My eyes cannot close.
Till today, you're anti-nap. We're in the playground, by the way, for all the weird noises in case. But yeah, what else? And then they
called you.
Then you fell asleep, and then I got a call from the hospital, and then the doctor goes to me, we have the parents of Tia Ali. I was like, yep. And they're like, okay. And the doctor that I saw, the American one, she was like, I think you're going to expect a call from a professor. He needs to speak to you. I said, professor? What professor? She was like, I don't know. There's something about her bloods, and they need to speak to you. And I said, okay, that's a bit weird. I said, okay, fine. So I waited. And then an hour later, half an hour later, I got a call from a professor, whoever. His name was Professor. I forgot his name. He was French.
Well, Professor,
Professor French.
we send you our love.
And then this professor called me and goes to me, okay, Tia Ali's mum, yes, we saw something on the bloods, and where is Tia right now? And I said, she's in nursery. And he's like, and does she live alone? I was like, oh, she has a brother who's special needs.
Does she live alone? She lives
Like,
with
does
me.
she have any other brothers and
Oh.
sisters? I was like, yeah, no husband. He's like, okay, where is your other son? I was like, well, he's in nursery too. He's like, okay, can you please make arrangements to collect the kids? And I need Tia to come to me right away and bring her up to hematology. And I said, okay, fine, no problem. Do you want to tell me what's going on? He's like, no, we'll talk when we come. I was like, okay, fine. So then I called the nursery and I said, oh, Mrs. Beckett, I said, the hospital called me and they said that I need to pick up Tia and I need to go to hematology. Um, and yeah, and I need to go pick up her. And she's like, okay, do me a favor. She's like, don't look up anything, okay? Don't use the phone, don't use the internet, don't do nothing. She said to me, I'll bring Tia over, or she said, I'll bring Ryan over. You go collect Ryan. I think she said something like that. She goes, I'll drive and I'll bring you Tia, and you just go collect Ryan, and I'll meet you at the hospital. But do me a favor, promise me you won't look up. I said to her, yeah, I won't look up.
She won't look up for what?
Hematology.
Hematology.
I said to her, because they said to me to go to hematology. And I had no idea what hematology meant. No idea. Hematology means blood disorders, by the way. Luckily, I didn't, because that would have straight away I would have known.
You would have fainted, Mum.
Yeah, and I would
You would have passed out.
I would have had to pick up Ryan, and I could have done a car crash, and I would have it would have been horrible. So I don't know what happened to me. I didn't look up.
This video podcast is also dedicated to Miss Beckett,
Yeah,
my nursery teacher.
I lovely Miss Beckett. We love her. And then I got up there, and then they told me to come in to the room. They did more bloods on you again, and then the doctor said to me, this professor said to me,
and all my family came. All my family came.
Yeah, because they said to me, oh, we need her dad to come, and then I started to panic, and I was like, oh, why do you need a dad? And so then everyone in my family somehow found out. Everyone turned up in the hospital, which is so bizarre. And then
they were all waiting outside patiently.
Well, the doctor first spoke to me before Daddy came, and then he said to me, Tia has anemia. And I said,
anemia?
Yeah.
What's anemia?
That means you're low on iron.
Anemia. Okay.
And I was like, yeah, so are you serious? Like, you dragged me all the way here to tell me she has anemia. I have anemia. What's your point? And I was like, what's the big deal? He's like, what? Why does she have anemia? I said, you're asking me why she has anemia? I'm not the doctor. I don't know why. He's like, there are 3 reasons why people have anemia. 1 is either they have an infection. 2, either it's genetic. Or 3, it's something not too great. And I said to him, okay, well, which one does she have? And he was like, well, we need to rule out that she doesn't have the other 2. I said, okay, well then rule it out. And he was like, yeah, but we don't think she has the other 2. I said, so what do you think she has? What's this other thing? He's like, something bad. And I said, well, I don't know what you're talking about. What is this bad thing? And if you're not sure, then why do you keep saying it for? I said,
and
why
was
don't
Baba
you?
in the room?
He's like, first of all, do the. I said, first of all, do the. I said, first of all, do the do the thing, do the blood test, and then let me know what it is. And then they said, okay, fine. I'll find out and I'll let you know. But we need Daddy to come. I said, okay, fine. And then Daddy came, and Amna was like, what's going on? I was like, I don't know.
I bet Baba was panicking like crazy.
And then I was like, they said she's anemic, and I said to them that you're anemic too. So I think Baba's anemic. And they said, oh, maybe it's from Baba. I said, exactly, right? Why are they making a big deal and calling us all here for? What's the big? It's only something anemic. Anyways, they waited till Daddy came, and then there was like 3 of them. There was Anna, the CNS, Anna Cabrera, and
also dedicated to Anna Cabrera,
and your doctor, and then Daddy and me. And then they were like, we did the blood test again, and I'm sorry to tell you but it's confirmed that Tia has leukemia, cancer. Dun, dun, dun.
And what did you do?
Cried, obviously. And then your dad cried. We were like, what? Oh, and then we cried. I was like, oh.
And where was I? Just
outside, having a good time, colouring and playing, and everyone else in your family was outside. And I was like, oh.
I think I remember that as well.
You weren't in the room, you wouldn't have remembered.
No, not remember you crying. I remember like that time.
Anyways, I cried, and your daddy cried, and he hugged me. I felt so sorry.
Did
for
anybody
your daddy.
else cry? Because I know, like, my auntie was there.
Well, they're still outside, so I'm just talking about when we were in the room. I just felt like, what the hell? Like, what do you mean she has cancer? Like, I've never had anyone. I've never known anyone with cancer. How can a kid have cancer? Like, how does this make sense? Like, what the hell happened? Like, how? I was like so, like, yeah, I was so confused because I've never experienced it with anyone in my families or friends, so I don't know what to expect. But I was shocked because it was my child. So then your dad cried and I cried. Then we wiped our tears, and then they said we're gonna have to keep her and take her to Great Ormond Street in a few days to start treatment. They'll tell you everything at Great Ormond Street. And then I said, okay. And then they were like making sure that we're okay. You okay? Okay. I was like, yeah, we're okay. And then they said, okay, we'll leave you alone. And then we came out, and then everyone was like, what's going on? What's going on? Tita, like all my brothers and sisters, my mom and dad, everyone. What's wrong? And then I said, they said she has cancer. And everyone started to cry. Oh my god.
Everyone,
Yeah,
even
everyone was,
Zuzu.
everyone was weeping, crying. And then they called everyone else. And for the next 24 hours or 48 hours,
Your friends
we
came.
took over the entire floor because people kept coming in and visiting and crying. They cry, and then we would. Me and your dad stopped crying after we only cried in that room, and we never cried again because everyone else kept crying, and we kept telling everyone, "It's okay, she'll be fine. It's okay, she'll be fine. It's okay, she'll be fine." Grandma kept crying every 2 seconds. She'll stop and cry, and then stop and then cry, and then stop and then cry, and Lella would cry and then stop and then cry. It was just And I just remember everyone kept coming in. Don Sama kept crying. My cousin, she gave you a bath. I remember she was weeping as she was bathing you. She was proper emotional. I remember. Do you remember anything? Do you remember having lots of presents at least? Do you remember me telling you
Telling me what?
that you've got cancer, leukemia? When did you realize you had leukemia?
I don't know.
You don't remember?
No.
So when you were young and you kept getting treatment, what did you think the treatment was for?
What can you just tell me? I can't remember. Obviously it was for a reason, but I can't remember when you told me.
Do you remember when we went to Great Ormond Street and then they had to put cannulas and give you treatment?
I remember that.
I told you your blood wasn't working, remember? Properly? I think maybe that's what you thought. That's what you thought it was.
Yeah, but do you remember telling me I had cancer?
Yeah.
Can you tell me what happened?
I told you, they said, oh,
where were we?
You need to tell her. So I sat you down in the room and I said to you, Tia, I need to explain to you that your blood apparently isn't working properly, and for that reason, we're going to have to give you some really strong medicine to make your blood learn how to do the right thing so that it won't stop doing the naughty stuff, And you said, okay. I think you were so young that you didn't care. You were like, yeah, whatever, just do it.
Yeah.
I remember you having steroids and getting really
But as
angry.
I got older, it used to get more annoying, and I used to understand it more. And I think when I got older, they explained it again, and then I was like, oh, okay, cancer. And I'd realize I recognize the name cancer. It's big. It's not what I thought it was. Anyways,
do you still think it's big?
yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't defeat your life, but it takes up a lot of your life, but it doesn't become your life.
No, it doesn't become your life, but it does take up a lot of your life, though. It takes a lot of time because you spend a lot of time doing things related to it, isn't it?
Anyways,
Yep.
that's my
That's my memory and my story of your diagnosis.
we're not going to do a podcast about it because it's going to be like 3 seconds long because I don't remember anything. If we were to
You
do
remember
one.
little clips of like what you were
Of what we
doing
were
and blah blah
doing,
blah. I don't think you really had much feelings.
That's what I meant. So this,
Your feelings didn't develop then, did it? It developed afterwards, I guess. I think when you relapsed, that's when you started to understand properly what was going on.
I was like 9, so
Yeah. 9? No, 8.
Eight.
8 and
8.5.
8. Yeah, 8, 8.5. I think that's when things started to make sense to you, right?
Yeah.
But when you relapsed, how did you feel?
Angry.
Were you angry?
I was angry.
Angry.
And I must say, I remember it being worse. I'm only saying this because I remember my relapse more, it being worse when I relapsed.
Worse in what sense? Worse
Like
for you or the pain?
The pain for me, everything was just worse.
Yeah. And all the drugs and all of that stuff, right?
Being in hospital, people used to just get on my nerves more. Like, I just wanted to be left alone.
Yeah. I think it makes a difference because you're older. When you're young, you don't quite get what's going on. It's just like, yeah, whatever.
We all wish we were younger when we're going through hard times, so we don't remember them.
That's true.
Because I don't remember
All of this stuff.
all of the stuff that you explained. I wish I had remembered like everybody's reaction and stuff like that, like interesting stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't want to know like the bad stuff. Anyway, short story long. That's how I got cancer, leukemia to be specific.
Yep.
The screaming is very annoying.
So yeah, I think we're done explaining.
And we need to end this before people start getting
Crashing
too
gate crashing our podcast
Okay.
session.
Bye, lovelies.